The biggest threats to New Jersey aren't just what you see on the news. From government tyranny to cartel violence, biological warfare, and unexpected phenomena in the sky. 2025 is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable and possibly dangerous years yet. The question is, are you ready? So let's get into it. DJ Shipley clap in 3, 2, 1. I'm the type of person that tries to think how I can be as prepared as I can. Now, you're never going to be prepared for everything. It's impossible. You have to be as prepared as you can, realistically. Think about the realistic threats. You have to try and think logically. In New Jersey, we have specific things that could affect our state more than others. Number one, our government. The government in New Jersey is super restrictive on our Second Amendment. So New Jersey has just become more increasingly tyrannical. We know this because they've got some of the strictest gun laws in the nation, from the 10-round magazine restrictions to the sensitive places to the permitting process that takes a long time, and all the money, all the cost with the concealed carry permits and the firearms ID card and the qualifying classes you have to take. The red flag laws, I could just go on and on. They're proposing a bill right now so that people in our government don't even need a concealed carry permit and they can't get charged with unlawful possession of a weapon. They're saying that their lives mean more than ours. So that's usually what a tyrannical government thinks. They're the government, they matter, and we don't. So I think one of our biggest threats in New Jersey is our government in general. They've been trying to eradicate our Second Amendment for a long time now. Thank God we're seeing glimpses of it here and there. Tyranny doesn't always show up in boots and have guns. Sometimes it's all through legislation and paperwork. But in the end, the result is the same. You're defenseless and you're now being controlled by a tyrannical government. Number two, the southern border crisis has become New Jersey's crisis as well. It brought gang activity, criminals, fentanyl deaths, and unfortunately, in 2020, my brother was one of those. He'd been a drug addict for a long time, but fentanyl put him over the edge. He overdosed. My dad found him on the floor and called me up and said that he was gone. It's every man's choice to do what he does in his life, you know? So whether someone brings drugs to New Jersey or not, it's every man's choice. You know, you choose to do the things you do in life and you deal with the consequences. And unfortunately, he dealt with his consequences. But the fact that they can even bring that here and give these people more opportunities to do these drugs and sell these drugs and hurt as many people as possible, I mean, it's a terrorist operation. It really is, to destroy lives in America. And anybody who doesn't look around and actually see, besides seeing just the bubble that they're in, and look out a little bit further to see what's going on, you might not notice all the gang activity, drugs, and what goes with the drugs is the activity of the drug dealers and the drug addicts and the homelessness and the mental health. So it's something that hits really close to home. Fentanyl is the number one cause of death for Americans between the age of 18 and 45. I'm sure this isn't the first time you guys are hearing it either. If you guys have been through a similar situation, know somebody or have someone in your family, comment down below, let me know. Fentanyl is primarily trafficked by Mexican cartels. That is a massive crisis. Thank God President Trump, really has that border closed. But in the last 4 years, the CBP estimates about 2.5 to 3 million gotaways that cross the border. So we don't know who they are, where they came from, if they're cartel, if they're terrorists. The third threat to New Jersey in 2025 is something that we saw in 2020 as well. Whether by accident or by design, a bioweapon release could be something we see again. I know, sounds crazy, right? Some people still can't even fathom the fact that it happened once. And now that it's gone, time heals all wounds and, your mind kind of forgets. Mine didn't. And I'm sure a lot of other people's didn't either. Don't forget, because it happened once. So it could happen again, and it could be much worse than last time. Thank God, COVID didn't end up being the monster that they all said it was. In some ways, the government was more of the monster than COVID was. But it doesn't mean it can't happen and it can't be worse than COVID. Murphy couldn't wait to exercise his emergency power, forcing business closures, lockdowns, restricting people's movements, mask mandates, school closures, making kids stay home, making kids get the shot when none of it was needed. And I think they all knew that in the first place. But you see how far it went, and you see how far it could have gone. Bill Gates and other global organizations have already modeled pandemic simulations for 2025. If it happens again, will you comply? Will you believe what they say this time? Because man, after last time, it's going to be hard to believe anything that they say. And will you be prepared? Nowadays, you got a gas mask in your house, someone might think, that's crazy. Remind them of the pandemic that broke out in 2020 and let them know that if it was much, much worse, you might wish you had one. So there's a difference between being paranoid and prepared. And after 2020, I don't think anybody can really talk and say you're paranoid if you're preparing for something. You know that scene in The Matrix when the guy eats the steak that's not really there because he's in the Matrix and he says, ignorance is bliss. That's pretty much what it is. People just want to be ignorant to what's actually going on, what could actually happen, and they just want to stay buried in their phone, swiping on TikTok. You can't live your life that way. You got to open your eyes and look around. And if you didn't open your eyes after 2020, man, your head is still buried under a rock somewhere. And number 4, this is probably my favorite topic out of all these because it's kind of fun, but it's also terrifying at the same time. All right, New Jerseyans, where are you at? Ready? We had a drone invasion. Yeah, do you remember? It wasn't that long ago. We had an actual drone invasion. And at first the news said, you're all crazy, there's no drones. Then they said, oh yeah, there is drones. Yeah, we know about them, but they're not going to hurt you. And then they said, oh yeah, don't worry, those are our drones. But they never told us what was happening or why they were flying around. But isn't that always how it is? It's first, no, it's not happening. Then, yeah, it is happening, but it's okay. And then it's, don't worry, we've got it under control. But they never do. From 2023 to 2024, there's been confirmed UAP sightings over naval bases, military sites, nuclear facilities, and New Jersey included. There was a drone swarm reported over the Pine Barrens in 2023, and we still never got an explanation for it. FAA and NORAD experts say that there's been an increased UAP activity and airspace violations by these unknown craft. Congress even held UFO hearings in 2023 and 2024, confirming sightings over military bases, confirmed by military pilots. Call them aliens, call it advanced tech, call it whatever you will. Something's going on. So just keep an eye out. And remember, you're not crazy for prepping. It's not extreme to want to be armed. You're not paranoid for trusting your own eyes and trusting your own instincts. The real threats to New Jersey aren't just in your imagination. They're in the skies, they're on the streets, they're in the legislature, they might even be in your neighborhood. This is why we have the Second Amendment. This is why we train, and this is why we care so much to keep our Second Amendment in New Jersey. This is why you have to always be ready. This is why you have to keep learning, keep training, and one day if you have to, you'll be able to defend yourself. Because in a state full of aliens, terrorists, tyrants, cartel members, and drone invasions, you might need that Second Amendment one day. So if you haven't got out there yet and gotten a firearm, get your firearms ID card, become a responsibly armed citizen, get some training so you'll be able to protect yourself and your family if the time ever comes. Guys, let me know what you think the biggest threat to New Jersey is in 2025. And tell me, what was the craziest thing that you can remember in these last few years that you never thought you'd see in your life? Guys, if you like these videos, hit that like and subscribe button. I thank you all for watching. You've been blowing up my last few videos, and I love you all. I love all the comments. I love all the Second Amendment love. So keep it coming, and I'm going to keep these coming. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night.